so glad you're here because today I'm going to share with you my fall home tour. Plus, I'm going to show you how to decorate your home with that old vintage look that is cozy. And this is a perfect time to do that because to me, that's what fall is all about. Creating cozy spaces with fall leaves. And in this basket, I also have some pussy willow that is perfect for the fall season. I placed it inside of a basket that I got from Goodwill, and that is another thing I'm going to share today, that you can get beautiful things at a thrift store, on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, to not only save money, but find true treasures that will last you year after year. I filled up this water pitcher with fall leaves and white berries, and I found it at Goodwill. There are 3 things that I focus on when I'm shopping. Number 1 is the color. Like this has the mustard yellow for fall and goes perfectly with my flowers and leaves. The second is the style. And I love the Victorian farmhouse style, and this one definitely has that look. And the third thing I look for is the price. I ask myself, can I afford this? And will this go with my home? Another way I save money is by transforming furniture, like these 2 French chairs that I bought from someone on Craigslist for $25 each. I painted them with Annie Sloan chalk paint in the color Amsterdam green, and look how well they go in this room. When looking for vintage decor, I'm not just looking for the style, I'm also looking to see if it's functional. Like that green sofa, I wanted one that was really cozy, that my husband can put his feet up at the end of the day and relax. I also look for baskets to put blankets in for when it's cold, but I also look for things I can use over and over again, like this white pitcher. I filled it up with orange leaves and a huge white flower, and on the side I put a real pumpkin and a cute little green one. And you wouldn't believe that I actually found a pumpkin tureen at Goodwill. It is so whimsical, and I love how it looks during the fall season. Another practical thing I like to look for are vintage looking chairs. They are so easy to move around when guests come over to watch a movie or play games. I added this brown pillow and this needlepoint pillow that has the blues and the browns. They are so perfect together. And yes, I got this chair from Goodwill. But my most prized possession is this dresser. The wood is exquisite. And everything you see here, I use in different ways throughout the year and place them all over the house. So finding things that you love is the key. When I turn around and walk away from things that capture my heart at the store, it feels good because that money will now go to something that I really want. Like the day I went to Idaho and I came across this picture. There had been many times I had said no to other pictures when I was shopping at Goodwill or a thrift store. But when the moment came and I seen it there, my heart just leaped because I knew that was the one I wanted. I am all about the wow factor. I love it when vintage pieces are standalone. They have the style and nothing else is needed. Those are the types of things I look for when I'm shopping at thrift stores, even antique stores. Now this is another practical thing that you can find at thrift stores. Pillar candles have a style, and you can get them in the color that matches your home. There are so many out there, which is part of my color scheme, and it's rustic and has the farmhouse look, and they were affordable. But the best part is there wasn't just one, there was another one as well. I have used these in so many ways, and the fact that they were affordable, you can't get anything like this at this price at any big box stores. I just love the way they look. Now this antique Victorian sofa is an example of something that is a standalone. It has the Victorian look. it is the right color. And the best part is it's cozy. But I'm going to be real for a moment. I have been looking and looking for gold frames. And these ones are just like the ones I've wanted. And sometimes there has to be moments that you invest in something that looks like what you want. I found these on Etsy and they are gorgeous. Now, one of my favorite finds I found at Goodwill, it is this vintage wall art of two ladies. One is playing the piano, the other one is singing. And I'll tell you, most stores have bright lights, and this is what it looked like at Goodwill. You know that my heart leaped when I seen this. It is so beautiful, and that frame is gorgeous. And the price was pretty fair, but this is what it looked like when I brought it home. It has a dark patina, and the wood looks like mahogany, and it is just perfect. I love that find. I recently learned something about clocks. If you get on eBay, you can look for broken, old, antique clocks, especially if they're French. This one, the inside was gutted, which means it lost its value. You can save thousands of dollars looking for broken clocks. I got 2 candelabras and the clock as a set. They are incredible, but this cherub candle holder stole my heart. I was shopping at my local Goodwill and seeing that sweet little face, and at $6.99 I could not resist. So yes, I brought it home, and I love how it looks on top of our armoire that holds our TV. This is our 1-year-old Maine Coon boy. His name is Samson, and he's enjoying his afternoon nap. Look at him, he's so cute. But I have more to show you. He found his cozy spot. We are now moving into my dining room. It is one of my favorite places to decorate, and you'll see why in just a moment. We don't sit here every day, so I like to create a little vignette on the table. And you wouldn't believe that I found this lace runner and this velvet tablecloth on Amazon. I will link those below if you're interested. The combination is just beautiful. But this is another prized find that I found for $8, I believe. I mean, look at the details, so pretty. And do you see the crystal salt and pepper shaker? I have to show you. The moment I found them, they were $1.99. And I took the top off, trying to figure out if it is real silver or not. And I turn it over to look inside, and it looks pretty clean. So that sold me. I brought it home, and I'm so excited that I did, because I love the way it looks, alongside the other crystal things that I've found over the years. It's taken me quite a while to figure out my style. I need to go through a lot of my things that I don't use anymore. Now this was a surprise. I found it at Value Village for under $25. I love it. I'm showing you the inside of this dollhouse. There's a little mouse peeking out. I think it is such a neat addition to my dining room. I have enjoyed it so much. Underneath it, I have a really old antique sewing machine. I mean, look at that wood. I found that for $100. But one of my greatest memories is having my dad sitting there with my mom. It is so surreal that he was here last Thanksgiving and Christmas. He was someone who made people feel so loved. He would hug them, shake people's hands. He was a physical representation of how God loves us. I will always love him for who he was. Now on the other side of this dining room is this beautiful hutch, and I decorated it with fall leaves that have the similar color like the print that is in the gold frame. I mentioned that the number one thing to look for when looking for home decor for your home is the color. When things blend together and are part of your color scheme, It creates a peaceful atmosphere. So if something feels off in your home, think about the color. This brown transferware teapot is an example. It has neutral colors. It can blend with other colors like blue or even pink. But the moment I seen this, I couldn't believe it. I was out of town, and this Goodwill was the most expensive I've ever been to. But can you see that? It says Staffordshire, England. This was a moment that I actually bought it and took it out of my savings. And another tip that has helped me so much is to put money aside in a savings account a little at a time. That way when I come across something that is really above what I can afford, I can now get it because I've saved money over time. Now here is something I found at that same Goodwill as that teapot. I was having a sticker shock experience, I'll tell you. But is that pretty or what? Definitely a Victorian vase. Can you see that price? It's $20. Look how pretty it is. That was quite the day, I'll tell you. When looking for vintage decor, there is a list of things to look for. You can look for white pitchers, teapots, coffee pots, teacups and saucers, tureens, and the list goes on. You can flip the items over to see if there is a marking, and it will tell you if it is vintage or not. You can take a picture of it and look at what it is on Google Lens. That is so helpful to know that when you're holding something in your hands, that it is truly a vintage piece. And now I'm going to share with you ideas on how you can add vintage decor to any room in your home. Creating spaces to display vintage finds creates that cozy factor by surrounding yourself with old vintage things from the bygone days. There is nothing like it. This home was built in 1998, so it is a newer build. But to give this space an old world look, I added these antique sewing drawers, and I use it every day. Other things that I've added lately are these baskets. I found all of them at Goodwill. I added blue ribbon and eucalyptus branches to this fall wreath. Now these baskets on top of the cabinet has added that cozy feel. They are easy to find at any thrift store or Goodwill. I also took a basket and put my KitchenAid mixer inside. Tucked in the back is a blue pitcher that I filled up with white berries. Now this is one of my favorite things I added this year, is this Goodwill frame. I put a Etsy print inside that has the fall colors. Now this candle is blue like my Flow Blue dishes. It smells so good. It has a tobacco and vanilla scent and adds that element of comfort to my kitchen. I will link that one down below. Another area I decorate is this corner. I placed a Goodwill frame against the window, and every season I change out this print. This one is of a Victorian lady on the lake. When you look close, you can see the brush strokes of the paint. It is so beautiful, and I love the way it looks with the browns. I placed orange daisies inside of that white false craft pitcher and a real pumpkin in the front. Top of the sink, I have a collection of copper. That big one in the middle is one of my newer ones, and on the right is one that has roses on it. I love that one. Another thing I added were these curtains that I placed in front of my oven and dishwasher. I seen this look on Instagram, and I thought I would just give it a try. It looks so cozy and old-fashioned, and so far they've worked out really well. The wall art on top of this plate rack was found at Hobby Lobby. I loved it because it has that orange pear. I also found some really neat fall cups. I love using these for hot cocoa or pumpkin spice lattes. Another thing to collect are digital prints off of Etsy. I have used this one over and over again. I will show you a larger one in my fireside room. Having a plate rack allows me to display my most beautiful dishes that I have found over the years. To add a fall touch, I put a pumpkin inside of the teacup. I wanted this area to look simple. To the table, I added a basket. I think it just adds a nice warmth to this breakfast nook. Now I have to tell you this story. My husband and I went on vacation to a beautiful place called Connor. It is a small little town. We found this wine holder. Isn't that unique? Here is a cow creamer that I found at Goodwill. I painted 2 of the chairs and the table with white chalk paint, as well as this cabinet. I think it just brightened up this area so much. And this is another idea. Adding something that allows you to display all of your things adds another way of bringing a cozy feel to any room, no matter what your style is. I propped up a little pumpkin there, peeking out of this brown box. And on the left here, I have this brown pitcher. I found this at the end of fall last year at Goodwill in Linwood, Washington. It is that perfect chestnut brown, and I'm excited that I get to display it this year. It is so pretty for the fall season. On the bottom shelf, I have this wooden box that has these drawers. And on the inside, I love putting my tea bags. And this is an example of things you can find that are practical and useful and yet has a vintage look to it. And on top, I have this teacup and saucer. They are part of my fall scrap collection that I have found over the years. And believe it or not, you can find those at Goodwill as well. It is safe to say that 80% of the things I'm showing you are from Goodwill. I never imagined that I could decorate my home with old vintage things that has a story and shows wear and tear that is so loved by so many, because you can't find things like that nowadays. And I have been amazed when I go to Goodwill or a thrift store how many vintage and antique finds I have collected, like this large creamer that I found at the Habitat store. It is Flow Blue. Isn't that pretty? But one of my greatest finds was this antique sofa. I found it for $50, and it is one of my most greatest achievements. I painted it with Annie Sloan chalk paint, and I show every detail of how I did that. This floral print has the perfect combination. It looks vintage. It has the beautiful fall colors with the orange. There's even a blue, like these Flow Blue platters that I placed on each side of the frame. And on this sofa, I simply placed some white lace pillows and a navy blue velvet pillow. I just love the way it looks. This antique sofa is another example of finding something that has that standalone look. It is Victorian and it is rustic and fits beautifully in my Victorian farmhouse styled home. But what I'm about to show you just blew me away. I have been searching and searching for a cabinet to put against this wall. I am trying to create a cozy library in this corner, somewhere where you can curl up and read a book, especially in this rocking chair. It is so comfortable to sit in. It was made in the 1890s. I added another fall print to that frame and placed some pumpkins here on the shelf, as well as some leaves there on the right. I also want to show you what I did with this bookshelf. I placed this rustic vintage crate on top of this shelf, and inside is this Flow Blue plate, the Victorian lady and gentleman. Looks like they're dancing. I love mixing the old, chippy, rustic things with the elegant, glamorous Victorian pieces. Let me tell you, you can probably imagine what I felt when I found this cabinet. It was made in the 1890s. The glass has that bubbled look. The wood is mahogany. It is called an American Federal Flame mahogany writing desk. I mean, look at this handle. It is thick brass. I think it's amazing when you feel the real thing. It has quality. Inside, I placed one of my most treasured things that I inherited recently. It is my dad's Bible. Do you see how the spine is creased? He would spend hours studying and writing down his findings. I feel so privileged to own it now. The beauty of the cathedral glass wasn't the only thing that stole my heart. In the photos, I seen the most beautiful green velvet desk when it was opened. It is the original fabric, and the best part is my husband loves it too. On top, I have these silver candelabras and huge coffee pot with a spout. I got all of those from Goodwill. I have some fall hydrangeas that I placed inside that coffee pot, but this was my recent find from Goodwill. This is what it looked like before. The moment I saw it, I was imagining what it would look like. I painted it with Annie Sloan chalk paint in the color Oxford Navy, and I painted the fabric. Not only did I paint the base, but I also painted the cushion as well on both sides, the arms of the chair. After it dries, I sanded it down till I could feel the fabric underneath, and then I waxed it with clear wax. This is what makes it last a long time. Feels like soft leather when you're done. I chose this color because I have a lot of flow blue dishes, and I want to bring out the colors in those, and so it goes so well with what I'm doing here in this fireside room. I mean, look at this. Isn't that pretty? I love how that blue looks with the wood. And on this chair, I have a burlap pillow. It has a French design. Behind it, I have a plaid pillow. The whole thing just looks so pretty. And I can't believe I found this at Goodwill. And one of my greatest treasures is this really pretty candelabra that I put some crystals on. It is made out of brass, has a marble middle, but look at this pitcher and bowl. It is antique. I found this at a thrift store in Idaho, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is the day after I brought it home, and this is what I'm talking about, the marking underneath things. This will tell you the name of it, and you can find out the year it was made. This one is from the 1920s, and I love the design. Now the price was pretty fair, kind of expensive for me, but I think it was worth it. There was also a bowl, and look how pretty it is. I love the design on the edges. Now you know why I love decorating with blue. It is because of pieces like this. I mean, look how thick that is. I love this so much. Inside, I placed some white Queen Anne lace flower stems that I got at Michael's. I love the neutral look. Another incredible find was this really pretty table lamp that I found with that table that it's sitting on. It has that round glass lampshade, and it definitely has that Victorian look that I love. I mean, look how beautiful it is with all of the things that I have going on. It is gorgeous. Now talk about cozy. I found some brown velvet pillow covers. I placed this really pretty cobalt blue floral needlepoint pillow that has that similar brown color. Ties it all together. And that little pillow is an antique with little Swiss dots on the edges. It is so pretty. This year I tried to simplify this gallery wall above my buffet. I found this beautiful gold frame, and on top of that I placed this white one that I found at Goodwill, put a print of a Victorian lady with a blue dress, and then that platter, and inside the gold frame I found a print that has the blue sky. Doesn't that look nice? And yes, I found this lamp at an antique store, as well as this scale. It has that copper pan. I printed a mini floral print and put it in this gold frame. Taking a huge creamy pitcher, I placed 2 sunflowers inside. I just love this simple look here and how it all goes together. It'll be beautiful no matter what the season is. Another way to create a cozy feel in your home is to collect books. There is nothing like old books from the late 1800s and early 1900s. I have been collecting them over the years, and one of my favorite places to go is to a thrift store. Found this Winston dictionary. It had a little mark on the front. That's okay. It's what's on the inside. I like to look at the date to see copyright, and this one is from the 1940s, and I cannot believe the price. It is $3.99. The other types of books I like are ones that have beautiful pictures, like this one is The History of Art. I can imagine my grandchildren looking through this. That's what I want, is to have books that can teach kids how things were in the olden days. I bought both of those books and I love them. And this one was $3.99 as well. I have them displayed in my home. One of them is there on this fireplace mantle. Another thing I love to do is to make my own swags. They can be really expensive. So I went to Hobby Lobby, found these stems. They have these fall leaves and pine cones. And then I found the ones that have the wooden balls. I think it's so pretty. I also took a crystal pedestal tray and I placed a pumpkin on top. I found that tray at Goodwill, that vase in the background I also found at Goodwill. And on this table, I placed this really cute creamer inside of this bowl on top of this old rustic scale. That candelabra is a Hollywood Regency, and this table is one of my newer finds. But can we just pause a moment? Look at those antique chairs. I painted them as well with Annie Sloan chalk paint, but I preserved the wood. That is what stopped me in my tracks when I found them at an antique store. They are solid to sit in and will last for many, many years to come. I love finding things like that. I hope you were inspired today to decorate your home little by little. I am wishing you a wonderful fall season, and I'm excited to show you more thrift store and antique finds. Thanks for watching.